Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
Ashton Kutcher and him they were real tight. One time, me, him, Ashton Kutcher went to a Nets game and we met Jay-Z there. You know what I'm saying? So they were close, they was cool.
Mr. Kutcher looked in the window and saw what he thought was spilled wine on the floor. We believe now the evidence will show that was actually.
Buckle up, because the feds aren't playing around anymore, y'all. The latest tea, Ashton Kutcher. Yes, the Ashton Kutcher has reportedly been arrested as a co-conspirator in the explosive Diddy investigation. You heard that right. Online leaks are already starting to circulate, and it's not looking cute for Ashton. People are whispering that this arrest explains a lot. Like, why has he gone completely ghost since the Diddy case erupted? No interviews, no events, not even a blurry paparazzi shot of him grabbing a smoothie. And now, folks think he's been locked up this whole time. But wait, it gets even messier. Ashton's skeletons are flying out of the closet like it's Halloween in July. Digging into his past is revealing some straight up wild details that the public either forgot or never even knew. Let's rewind to his high school days. Ashton wasn't just a mischievous teen. Nah, this man broke into his own school, not for a prank, not for a dare to steal money and cheat on a test. And guess what? He got caught and slapped with a third-degree burglary conviction. That's a felony, baby. And years later, this same Ashton was co-hosting Diddy's notorious white parties. You know, the ones now linked to all those freaky, suspicious allegations. Oh, and let's not forget about those whispers that he was allegedly dating Lindsay Lohan when she was just 16. Ugh. People are now connecting the dots, and it's starting to make sense. Ashton might have always been just as shady as Diddy, especially when you factor in his connection to the shocking, tragic death of Ashley Ellerant, his ex-girlfriend. Remember that story? Ashton claimed he went to her place, peeked in the window, saw what he thought were wine stains on the carpet, and left. But by morning, Ashley was found unalived in that same house. Suspicious? That's an understatement.
Mr. Kutcher looked in the window and saw what he thought was spilled wine on the floor. We believe now the evidence will show that was actually blood.
People have been side-eyeing that whole story for years. Like, who sees blood or let's say red stains on a carpet and just assumes it's wine without checking if the girl you're there to see is okay? And Ashley wasn't the only one close to Ashton who met a mysterious fate. Brittany Murphy, yes, her. She died at 32 officially from pneumonia and anemia, but guess what? Her husband, Simon Monjack, died just months later from the same exact causes. What are the odds?
Hollywood is mourning the loss of Brittany Murphy this morning. The 32-year-old actress died on Sunday from what officials say appear to be natural causes. An autopsy is planned, reportedly against the wishes of her husband. CBS News correspondent John Blackstone has this report.
It didn't take fans long to connect the dots. The similarities in these deaths are downright eerie, sudden, suspicious, too similar. And now people are wondering, was there something bigger going on? Was Ashton deeper in this dark web than anyone knew? Especially since Brittany was also connected to Diddy and those infamous parties. The energy around Brittany's case, it screams cover-up. And now that we know Ashton and Diddy were out here co-hosting those exclusive parties together, oh honey, the plot thickens.
To me, I think what makes it work is, I know.
Is it you're so freaking hot?
No, is being able to do scenes with him and being in it with him.
But hold up, Brittany wasn't the only woman in this circle who died under bizarre circumstances. Let's talk about Kim Porter, Diddy's ex, the mother of his kids. She passed away in 2018, and what was the official cause? Pneumonia again. So let's count. Brittany Murphy, Simon Monjack, Kim Porter, young, connected to Diddy, all gone, and all supposedly from pneumonia. Come on now. When you zoom out and see the whole picture, Ashton's right there in the center, smiling for the cameras, shaking hands with moguls, while hiding in the shadows with Diddy. Insiders say Diddy trusted Ashton. Like, really trusted him. Not just in business, with secrets. Why? Because Ashton was tight with Danny Masterson. That Danny who's now rotting in jail for redacted crimes. Once that connection was made, Diddy brought Ashton, Danny, and Wilmer Valderrama into his tight circle. His so-called new Hollywood rat pack. And honey, this wasn't no gentleman's club. This was something else. These men were flying private, hosting hush-hush events, doing who knows what behind velvet ropes and closed doors. Rumor has it, Ashton was the one who introduced Diddy to Adam Newman, the infamous WeWork CEO who finessed investors out of billions with his culty nonsense. And who quietly got a chunk of the pie from that scam? Yep, Diddy.
I am the kind of person that actually learns more from their mistakes than from their successes. So all the great things we did in the past, we're gonna do again.
Now, here's where things take a chilling turn. Money, power, silence, that's not friendship. That's protection. That's insulation. And if you try Googling new Hollywood Rat Pack with Ashton's name, good luck. It's like the entire internet got wiped. A digital scrub down. Why? Because ever since Diddy got cuffed, Ashton and Mila have been ducking and dodging like they owe somebody rent. Suddenly, they barely knew Diddy like he was just some random guy in a selfie. Please. Same thing happened with Danny Masterson. Decades of friendship, holiday photos, birthday posts, all gone, deleted, poof, like it never happened.
People were shocked to find out that Ashton and Mila, who kind of have branded themselves as activists for victims, would write letters on behalf of a person who had been convicted already.
It's giving rebrand. It's giving damage control. And that's not all. Ashton and Mila's ties to Scientology, deep. Their closest friends, Scientologists, their household staff, allegedly part of the circle, and we all know what that means, media manipulation on expert mode. Scientology has a long, dark history of scrubbing headlines, bullying journalists, and silencing anyone who pokes too hard. So if stories about Ashton and Diddy vanished overnight, you already know why. And when Ashton was asked about Diddy's wild parties, he straight up said, "There's a lot I can't tell."
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
He said, within 83 blocks of where we're standing, you can go buy somebody. And I was floored by the notion of that.
But here's what's even crazier. Documents are being redacted, insiders are staying hushed, and even Freedom of Information Act requests have been filed to dig into all this. That's how deep it goes. Then, boom. Ashton suddenly resigns from the board of Thorn, his anti-trafficking nonprofit. Sources say he saw what was coming. The spotlight was creeping closer, and he dipped before it got ugly.
So the Times.com is reporting that Ashton Kutcher has resigned from his position as the chairman of the board, effective immediately. He wrote a very lengthy letter.
And now we've got to talk about Daveigh Chase. Remember her? The haunting girl from The Ring? Well, she didn't just fade out of Hollywood. She spiraled. Word on the street is it all began the night she was invited to party with Diddy and Ashton. She was young, like dangerously young. And ever since that night, her life has been a disaster. Arrests, jail. In 2019, she was booked. Before that, she had substance charges. By 2024, she was back in jail. This poor girl went from red carpets to mugshots in a blink. And people aren't buying the bad luck excuse anymore. They're saying something dark went down that night, something that broke her.
How are you doing? How's the New Year's going for you?
Great. Please don't do this.
Sorry. Well, Happy New Year anyways. I'm sorry. Happy New Year, Steve.
And here's the creepiest part, that wasn't an isolated case. Allegedly, Ashton had a type. The streets are saying he and Lindsay Lohan were a thing when she was only 16. Then, when Ashton backed off, who swooped in? Wilmer Valderrama. Starting to see a pattern, Ashton wasn't just around this circle, he was smack dab in the middle of it.
Is in Lizzie McGuire. She also has an album out. She's going to be in a movie called Cheaper by the Dozen. And she's one of the girls that we're all waiting for to turn 18.
And look, and let's zoom in on Wilmer Valderrama because, baby, his track record is flat out disturbing. Remember Mandy Moore? She met Wilmer when she was just 15 and he was 20. They both tried to downplay it at the time, saying they were just friends. But years later, Mandy confirmed it. They did date while she was underage. Let that sink in.
I dated him when I was 16 and 17. No. I love him and I still love him and he's a very good friend, and that's why I was so shocked by it, because not only was it a fib, but it was so unlike him. It was so uncharacteristic. He was like my first real true boyfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
But he did not take your virginity.
He did not.
And if that wasn't disgusting enough, Wilmer went on Howard Stern and bragged, yes, bragged, about being the first man to sleep with her. He laughed, he cracked jokes, he made it a punchline. Meanwhile, Mandy, she came forward later and said it wasn't even true and that the entire thing was deeply hurtful. It's given manipulator, It's given predator energy, period.
Who I think is a real hot piece of ass. You dated Mandy Moore.
Yeah.
For
Mandy Moore.
What's that like? Jesus.
And then came Lindsay Lohan. At the peak of her fame, Lindsay was just 17, and Wilmer, already 24. Again, same playbook, we're just friends. And then magically, the very second she turned 18, they were suddenly a couple. Like clockwork. You see it now, right? The pattern is terrifying.
I would.
Probably took her virginity.
Did he?
Yeah.
Lindsay Lohan?
Why are you insulting the man? He was how many years you were going out with Lindsay Lohan?
We were together for like a year and something.
But you don't meet her.
Fast forward to 2010. Wilmer starts hanging around Demi Lovato. She was still a teen, and guess what they said? We're just friends. He's like a brother. And then on her 18th birthday, they made it official. Wilmer was 29, and just like Mandy, just like Lindsay, Demi later admitted the relationship began before she was legal. These are not coincidences. These are calculated plays, grooming patterns.
First met Wilmer, he was 29. I met him on January 11th of 2010. And it was at a PSA shoot at his house for the 2010 census forms. And I have to have him. But I was only 17. And so he was like, get away from me. After I had turned 18, we began dating. I think it was love at first sight.
By 2022, Demi had enough. She dropped a song called 29, and ooh, honey, she did not hold back. She didn't name Wilmer, but she didn't have to. Everybody knew. She confirmed in interviews that the song was her truth, she said. The lyrics say it all, and they did. Finally, 29, funny just like you were at the time. Yeah, no more secrets. But let's go even deeper because one old online comment flipped this whole mess upside down. A former bar employee came forward and dropped a bomb. They claimed Wilmer Valderrama was part owner of a popular Hollywood bar, and underage girls constantly there. Not only that, staff were told not to check IDs at his table. The whistleblower said Megan Good was an investor too, and that she was just as horrendous. Let that sink in. This wasn't just random party behavior. It was systemic. It was organized. Girls were being served, partied with, and who knows what else under the protection of celebrity ownership. And if Wilmer was co-owning the bar and Megan Good was investing and Ashton Kutcher, and it's especially damning considering Ashton co-founded a tech company aimed at protecting children from exploitation. The hypocrisy? Loud. Publicly, he's giving speeches about safety and justice. Privately, allegedly partying with men who were preying on girls barely old enough to drive. The new Hollywood Rat Pack, as Diddy called them, wasn't about movies or brotherhood. It was about power, control, silence. And Ashton, he wasn't just a bystander. He was reportedly helping build the whole damn machine. And now, with Diddy going down, Ashton's empire might be next. Because guess who's also had enough? Mila Kunis. Yep, the whispers have turned into screams. Word is Mila has officially filed for divorce. She's been quiet for months, but insiders are saying this latest round of scandal was the final straw. Allegedly, she's done protecting Ashton, done covering his tracks, done standing beside a man who might have been tangled in something way darker than she ever imagined. And honestly, who could blame her? Everything shifted after Diddy got exposed. All of Ashton's secrets started bubbling to the surface. From the sketchy bar stories, to the Lindsay rumors, to the Ashley Ellerin tragedy, to Daveigh Chase's spiral, to the parties, the hush money, the rebranding, the Scientology connections. It's just too much. This man has built his career off of being America's playful genius. But behind that smirk, there's a storm of questions. And now, with Mila walking away, he's standing in that storm alone. No wife, no allies, just him, a crumbling Hollywood mask, and a past full of stories the public is finally starting to confront. So now we ask, did Mila Kunis really file for divorce? Is Ashton just another Diddy puppet? Or was he one of the puppet masters all along? Did he know what was happening in that inner circle? Was he protecting his friends or participating with them? And what's next? Will he face charges? Will more victims speak out? Or will Hollywood sweep it under the rug again? You know what to do. Drop your thoughts, drop your theories, drop those receipts, because one thing's for sure, this Hollywood house of cards is finally falling. And Ashton Kutcher might have been holding one of the bottom cards all along.